Great morning, great morning, great morning. I am Nicole D. Jones, and I'm just happy and grateful for another day. I'm happy and grateful for life. I'm happy and grateful for you. I'm happy and grateful for an opportunity to look at Nicole D. Jones, to be able to right my wrongs, to understand that there are some things that there's always something that I can do better. So I know some people will look at that and like, why are you happy and grateful for that? Because I understand that I am learning how to be unapologetically me through a posture of submission and humility. And in that, every day there is something that I should be able to see about me that's wrong, that needs to become right. Okay. So I'm happy and grateful for that, because every day that I feel like there is something like that, where I understand that, hey, you offend too. Nicole, you can do better with your money. You can speak nicer. All these things allow me to see, number one, that I'm going in the right direction. Number two, that the posture of my heart is lining up the right way, because there is a conviction that comes on me where I know that I want to be a better me. I want to be the best me. And in that, it breaks down that arrogance, that pride that could be there, and it sets you in a posture of submission and humility. So I'm glad, I'm happy, and I'm grateful today. All right. Just for an opportunity to look at me and the grace to have the opportunity to make it right. All right. That's why I'm happy and grateful. But I'm happy and grateful for you. Thank you for being accountability to me. As I state, without this, there are some days that I feel like, I don't know, maybe I won't want to do X, Y, and Z. Who knows? Okay. But I know every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, no matter how I feel, no matter what's going on, no matter what I think, there is somewhere I can go where I understand I'll get the same love back, knowing that I am healthy, knowing that you are healthy, knowing that I am wealthy, knowing that you are wealthy, knowing that I am prosperous, knowing that you are prosperous, and everything our hands go to touch, it must, it shall, and it will manifest and grow, because we are learning together self-confidence. We're learning together self-control. We're learning together how to right our wrongs. And we're learning together that we don't have to get everything right all the time, as long as we're in a posture of understanding that we were created in perfection and we're striving to be that. Okay? We're striving to be that. We understand who we are. We understand whose we are. We understand that the battlefield is in our mind. We understand that our mind is the Garden of Eden, and that we are intentional every day to get back there before the apple was bit, before sin came in. Okay? We can't help who we are. We're just great. All right? We were created in greatness. So we're great. All right? We're greatness full of flaws. So all we're doing is dusting the flaws off every day. Okay? I don't know why I said that. Somebody needed to hear it. Maybe I needed to hear it. Maybe I needed to hear it. I needed to hear it. But anyway, you know that it's Financial Literacy Month. And Monday we started talking about credit score. Okay. And I was all over the place Monday, because credit is like the back. I know it like the back of my hand. So sometimes it's just like, boop, 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 boop. I'll say something and I'll start thinking about something else. I kind of wanted to zone it in. And like I said, I wanted to go, and you can go get this information at myfico.com. It's information that is available to anyone who can type it in on any streaming platform. Okay. Any internet can give it to you. And you want to take the time to educate yourself. You don't have to read all 800 and some pages. You don't have to know every law. under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, but it is important for you to know the base. It's important for you to understand what a FICO is and why it's relevant and necessary, because it just is what it is. You need it. You need your score, okay? But like I told you guys on Monday, I really feel like we got to put even our credit and our credit score in perspective, okay? So a credit score, like I told y'all last week, and I just want to read what the official definition of it is. And it's a credit score is a number that summarizes your credit risk. It's the score that is based on a snapshot of your credit files at one of the three major consuming reporting agencies, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. At a particular point in time, it helps lenders evaluate your credit risk. Your credit score influences the credit that's available to you and the terms such as interest rate that lenders offer you, okay? So again, a credit score is supposed to be something that gives a lender something to look at that's supposed to identify your behavior with credit, okay? It's supposed to allow someone to know, hey, if I lend Nicole some money, is she gonna just max it out and blow it? And is she gonna pay me back on time? Those are the two biggest things that they're concerned about, okay? You think about when you're gonna lend someone money, you like, some of us, because we got a little bit of controls issues, we wanna know, what you doing with my money? It ain't even control issues, it's because it's mine. And if I give it to you, what you about to do with it? Okay? And then we wanna know, are you gonna pay me back? Like, what are the odds of me really getting my money back? Okay, so it's the same thing with a company. They need to see it. But I want you guys to know that if you are not at what's considered excellent credit, you got to remember that life happens. Okay, so if life happens to you, your credit score is going to show that. It's going to identify it too. Okay, you have some people, hands up, virtual, but y'all can see me. I can't see y'all, but it's okay. You have some where you just jacked your credit up, okay? You had some credit, you were just irresponsible, and your score really reflected how you were. So every time you go and you apply for something, you got to give them a lies we tell, all right? We want to act like, life hit us, and that's why I score like that. No, like, I messed up. Okay, I was young and I was a young mom and I had credit. There was actually, in that season, I had it because, you first get out of high school, everybody want to give you credit. And don't go to college because everybody wants to give you credit because they know you're going to spend it. It's your first experience. So a company knows that you're going to take this and you already feeling all like you're grown and, you just going to do you if you don't have the education. So they bank on it, all right? Everything is a system, all right? Once you learn the game, you know how to play it. I'm not saying that I want you to learn it to manipulate it. I want you to learn it to educate it so that you can always learn and grow. You educate yourself, okay? You don't become a master of robbing Peter to pay Paul using your credit. Guilty of that too, okay? But at the end of the day, it profits you nothing, okay? I was in my 40s before I bought my first home. Actually, the last 2 years, 2, maybe going on 3. But, that's ridiculous with my background. So anyway, just know that it's just something to identify you. So if your score is low, and I have a girlfriend, like she had excellent credit. She got laid off. She was not able to get back to work for some years. She ended up opening her own practice, but it showed in her credit. And she would be so distraught because her score was low. But I'm like, girl, anyone who looks at your credit can tell life happened to her. When she went and had to buy a car, she still had a high interest rate because of her score at the time. But even at the dealership, they were like, oh yeah, something must have happened. We can tell by your score. So is by your history. Okay. So it's it paints a picture, but I think, sometimes life happens, and because that happens, it reflects. We just went through COVID. Everyone's credit couldn't sustain that. Some people had to start pulling on their credit. So we're in a pandemic. You could lose your job. We've gone through recessions, all of that. So don't be bound if your score is low, because as you educate yourself and you know how to enhance your credit, it'll come up, and it does not take forever. Okay. So that's another myth. We need to do some myth busters. But anyway, so I wanted to explain that. And then also, so there's a range. Okay. So basically, you can have a credit score, and it's an accumulation of these. There's more than 3 reporting agencies, but those are the 3 main ones. I think we're up to 5 now, but the other 2 haven't kind of really made their way onto the main scene. But so you can go from 350 and anywhere from 800 or higher. Okay. So exceptional credit is anywhere from 800 or higher. All right. That's where you're getting like the zero, you have $20,000 credit limits, is 0% interest rate, because the bank understands that they can give you this money. They can trust you with it. You're going to pay them back. You're probably going to do something, that's going to continue to help your money grow. Because yes, revolving credit can help your money grow. Okay. It can free you up. Okay. When you can get your score up, you can start using other people's money, using the bank's money, to where your liquid money, your cash money can do more for you. Okay. But again, that comes here. You have to have self-discipline. You have to have self-control. We gotta get there. Okay. 740 to 799 is considered. Oh, and for exceptional, it's about 20% of the US consumers that have that number. Okay. 740 to 799 is very good. All right. That's about 40% of consumers. 670 to 739 is considered good. And it says these FICO scores are near the average of US consumers. 580 to 669 is fair. And these FICO scores are in the lowest 40% of the US consumers. And then anything 580 and lower, these FICO scores are in the lowest 20% of US consumers. All right. That means you're very risky. So when banks start looking at these things, but I want you to understand that there are more consumers that sit at poor and fair, working their way to good, than not. Okay. So if you fall into that category, it's all good. It's okay, because we're going to learn. We're going to educate ourselves and know the things that we can do to increase our score. The only thing I ask, I beg you, because if you do this, you're doing an injustice to yourself. Okay. Don't educate yourself to perfect the craft of robbing Peter to pay Paul. Don't do that. Be patient with yourself. Understand that your score can drop 40 to 80 points in 1 month, but you need to give yourself 3 to 9 months, if not 12, to recover. Okay. There are different things you can do to speed it up, but you got to be all right with it. It's quick to lose that score, but it takes time to gain it. And I'm glad it's like that. I've learned the hard way, but if we get these microwave fixes all the time, we're not going to change. We're not going to change ourselves. We're not going to learn self-control as long as we can hit a button and get what we want. So you got to tell y'all all the time, don't abort your process. You got to trust it. It's in the process that the blessings come. When you arrive to that exceptional or very good score, that's when you're in the overflow. That's not your blessing, okay? So keep the right perspective, all right? So now with a FICO score, it is broken down Okay, it's broken down into 5 parts. Hold on one second, y'all. It's broken down into 5 parts. And you have to know these 5 categories. So if you're not taking notes today, definitely go back out. When this is put on the YouTube channel, I'll make sure it's up there today, because you need to know this, okay? So you need to know that 35% of your credit score every month, because creditors only report once every 30 days minimum, okay? Some do it every 60, but it's at least once every 30 days. They don't report more than that, all right? So the first part is payment history. That's 35% of your score, all right? Payment history is 35%. How much you owe, your debt to ratio is 30%. Your length of credit history, how long you've had credit. So that starts from the first time your credit, was pulled and you received some form of credit. If it was revolving credit, it's like a credit card, or if it was a loan. All right, 15% length of credit history. 10% is types of credit used. So that's the mixture. Do you have all revolving? Do you have just loans? What is it? Do you have a mortgage? All of that. So it's your credit mix. And then 10% is new credit. All right. So these are the 5 primary categories that will give you a score every month. Now, if you notice, 65% of that, like I was telling y'all last week, is do you pay me back on time? And do you use all the money at once? Because on a revolving credit, you shouldn't do that. When you have a loan, it's the total amount. So if you go get a car loan for $10,000, you have used $10,000 because it's a loan. All right. It slipped my mind what it's called. I'll remember in a minute. But it's a loan. Okay. It's an installment. You pay payments on it. You can't fluctuate it. You can't borrow off of that. It's a line of credit. Thank you. It's a line of credit. Okay. So you have a line of credit and you have revolving credit. Revolving credit is what will hurt your score the quickest, but it also lifts your score the quickest. Okay. Because of that 65%. So if you make your payments on time and you keep your balance from your credit limit below 30%, I try to focus on 10%, but if you can get at least 30, just only utilize 30% and keep 70% of that credit line available, your score will go up quicker. Okay. So your payment history is 35%. You multiply that by 550, you can get a total of about 192.5 points a month in the whole overall plan of your credit. And this is why it's the biggest points. All right. Your payment history. Like, you got to have on-time payments. Late payments. Now, remind you, you could get 192 points, 192 and a half, 1 month. So when you're late, boom, it could take 60 of those points. It could take 80 of those points. Okay. If you only have 2 cards and you divide 2 into 19, what is that? That's 7. That's 9. That's like 90 points right there if you're late one time. So why am I saying this? The minimum due on your credit cards is based off of your balance. So if you're someone who has like $300 credit limits, first of all, you want to try to keep your balance at $60. Okay. Literally, it's $60. No more than that. Never go over. You do the little percentage, but your minimum due is usually like $25. Pay that $25. A lot of times we won't pay it because we're like, well, I don't have it. Listen, you better borrow $25. Call your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, your auntie, your co-worker. Can I hold $25 till payday? But pay it, because that $25 will cost you 90 points on your score. You don't want that, okay? So you want to get in the habit of paying at least your minimum due. You want to pay more because that's how you break the principle. But if you're in a tight spot, pay the minimum, okay? The next biggest part is the amount owed, or your debt to ratio. That is worth 165 points every month, okay? So you want to make sure that that's low. Now, why was I saying earlier, even if you're in a 450 or you're in the 400s, you can boost your score. You can get into the high fives easily within 90 days, okay? If you pay your balances down. So again, if you have $1,000 credit limit, all right, and you don't go over $300, you set that card up on automatic payments. For the next 90 days, your score is going to go down, all right? Excuse me, your balance is going to go down. Your payment history is going to stay consistent. Your score is going to shoot up. I hope that made sense, all right? Because you're having good behavior consistently that affects 65% of how your score boosts every month, okay? So you don't want to get credit to just max it out and blow it out. That's not what we're trying to do, okay? So the next thing is your length of credit history. That's 15%. So your credit history length, it just comes with time. That's 82.5 total points, all right? And it scores open and closed accounts. This is why, like, when you go and you do credit restoration and, some people just wipe your credit clean, that is like not good, okay? I have excellent credit history length. For the length, like that part, it's always excellent because I started with student loans at 18. I'm 48, okay? So it shows I have 30 years of credit history, okay? So when you're trying to clean your credit up and you're disputing things, you don't always necessarily want to say, that's not me, remove it. Because then you lose that history, you lose that time and that length, and it'll actually drop your score, all right? And then you have new credit. That's 10%. It's about 55 total points, all right? Now, what you want to make sure, you don't want to go and get a whole bunch of new credit because, so like if you get 2 credit cards or something like that, 2 loans, 2 things showing, that's good. Because number one, you don't want to do your credit inquiries, all right? You don't want to do that. You don't want to have a lot of inquiries. You really don't want to have more than like 2 inquiries on your credit, no more than 2 to 3 within a 2-year span, because your inquiries stay on your credit report for 2 years, okay? When it looks like you're just like always applying for stuff and they see no new lines of credit, why would they want to give you money? Because that shows them like you out here just trying to do this with all these people and ain't nobody giving you nothing. So why would I? That's how they're looking at it, okay? So you don't want to do that. And then, almost dropped my iPad, y'all. And then the last part is your types of credit. Hush. It's your types of credit. All right. That's also 55. So you gotta mix it up, right? So you gotta mix it up. You want to have revolving credit, which is what I said is credit cards, and installment loans, which is like a mortgage, a car loan, a loan. When you go to your bank and they give you a line of credit, they give you an actual loan, if it's a personal loan or whatever. You want to be able to mix it up, okay? And it's good for you to have, let's see, individuals with more than 2 installment accounts, if you have student loans, can put you back in your upper 800s. And the reason why is because it's showing a lender that other lenders have been able to trust you with a lump sum of money and you've been able to pay it back according to the terms. So if you go get a $20,000 car, you're on time with your payments. It makes another bank feel comfortable to give you something because you're paying it back. Okay. If you don't have a mortgage, I always suggest people, because like they have things like rental karma and things like that, because now there are things in place where you can actually get credit for how you pay your rent. That's something you want to do. I encourage everybody, if you're not a homeowner, then have it to where you can allow that stuff to reflect. If you're going through a private owned property, there are still ways that on your credit you can have your monthly rental history reflect on your credit score. You can go at least like 2 years back. Okay. But I know we don't have a lot of time. I just wanted to break down what creates your FICO score. And like I said, it is important because just you're known by that number, and it opens you up to have so many other resources. Okay. My goal is to find some land, purchase the land. Okay. I'll purchase the land. I'll purchase the land with my own money. Land you can buy for 30, 40, 50, $60,000. Okay. I want land. And then I will go and I will find a builder to build my home. Okay. Because you want to start getting in the mindset where you're building assets, you're building your portfolio for yourself, you're working on your legacy. But when you are able to have a score that allows you to pull on banks and lenders, because at this point, you got to remember, while we're going through the process of getting our credit scores to where it's good, because you want to be in the 740 club. Okay. Some people's goal is to hit 800. My goal is not to hit 800 because I understand anything 740 and above, I'm good. Now, of course, 799, if I can get to like 790, if you get in the high sevens, you're going to get the same perks as someone who is 800 and over. You're still going to get the 0%. You're going to get the same things that are afforded to someone with exceptional credit. Okay. But that needs to be your goal. And don't abort your process, because in your process, it's going to shift your perspective. It's going to shift your mindset. It's going to teach you how to make money your servant and not your master. Okay. If we are in low scores and life didn't hit us, it is a reflection that money masters us. So through this process of getting your credit score together, you want it to serve you, not master you. That's here. So in this, that's why I said don't abort it. Educate yourself. Go to myfico.com. Read up on it, okay? And like I said, this is Financial Literacy Month. We'll take time to kind of go through that, even with, how to read a credit report, because some of us are scared to look at it just because the way it looks. We can't be afraid of our situation. Can't be afraid of yourself, all right? So why can't you? Because we're learning how to be unapologetically me. You are unapologetically you in a posture of submission and humility. So we can look at us, we can look at our baggage and we can start pulling that thing out. Okay. And for some of us, credit is our baggage. If you have good credit, can always be better. You can clean it up. We all can clean up our credit reports. Okay. So it's 10:30. Never want to belabor your time. I want you to remember that you are healthy, that you are wealthy, that you are prosperous, that we are embracing the month of April as it being Financial Literacy Month, because we know we're those things. We know that everything that our hands go to touch, it must, it shall, and it will prosper and grow. We understand this, and because we understand it, we want to continue to be the best of who we are, okay? So be encouraged, do your due diligence, check it out. We'll continue to talk about it this month. And I want you today, it's Wednesday, it's Warriors Wednesday. We are warriors that are victorious. So look at that thing today and know that you set a goal for where you want to be with your credit. And we know as long as we're holding each other accountable, we'll obtain our visions and our goals, okay? Continue to have a fantabulous rest of the day, and I will see you in 48 hours. Smooches.